Your Sasstastic Life with hosts Trisha Rivas and Wendy Fredrigo.
Hello, we are back and we have Melissa Merrifield in the house. Woo!
Ooh, hello, ladies. I'm in the hot seat. It's really hot. It's kind of a little hot.
It's her ass on fire.
Not yet.
I do kind of like it hot, I did bring you a little hot sauce because you know why? Because we're all hot sauces that really kick ass. Really? It's mule sauce and we all kick ass.
There is a mule kicking another mule in the ass on that
But
label.
we're all
I love
hot
it.
sauce.
That's me kicking Wendy in the ass.
Perfect. What else you got there to start our
To
episode
start,
with?
I thought we would start with a moment of positivity and great affirmations just because we are being positive in the light. And so I think you guys should choose in your unicorn.
Okay.
So
I like it.
and we'll see what our positive affirmations of the day are. Oh, shuffle them up. All right. Every now and then we need a little extra. Let me see what so this is something that I do when I need a little extra.
I love the unicorn and the rabbit.
Oh, they all have the rabbit.
Strength. You are hereby declared a strong, resilient warrior of heroic proportions. Enjoy your battles, whatever they are, because you are guaranteed to come through them stronger, brighter, and more compassionate. And based on what I know of mythology, probably with great hair and a six-pack. What the fuck? This was made for me.
Oh yeah, it was the hair of Queen, the
And a
queen of
six-pack.
hair, and a six-pack.
It's under there.
It's there. I see. We've all got a
It's
six
in there.
Mine's in the fridge.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, this is so great. So mine has like a car wrapped up in wrapping paper. It says good things to come. There are so many amazing gifts coming my way. I can't see them now because I respect the general convention of not peeking under wrapping paper. But they will show up when the time is just right. And that's when I'll remember how much fun it is to be surprised.
So you're saying they arise to the occasion?
I think what I love about this is I'm not very patient. So this is good. Good
That's
things
a good
will
one
come.
for you. That's a good
Yeah.
one
So
for you.
mine is courage. No one is fearless. No one. But even though I am not fearless, I am courageous. When fear shows up, I don't run away from it. I use my courage to conquer it. My courage allows me to walk right up to that fear and kick it in the nuts and then quickly hide behind someone else bigger until it goes away.
Okay, that's
So,
fantastic.
That's funny.
You know what's
Just kick it in the
courageous? Is this haircut.
You like my
yes.
hair?
That is courageous.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
okay,
was, remind us what grade that was.
It was like when I was 10, 10-ish. There was a phase there. There was the bow tie, what do you call that haircut? If somebody walked into your salon today and says, I'd like to have this kind of haircut.
Fuck no. That's what we call that
I
haircut.
like that. Yes. That's a fuck no.
it's like a cross between a bowl cut and a mullet.
Well, and I think there's a little bit of a shag in there.
There's a little shag going on in the bangs. There's a couple. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was what my previous self looked like. And as you grow and evolve and change,
Yes.
what do you transform into? What do you like to lean into? And so you posted a picture and I felt like I had to share this because it's just too funny not to share. If you can't laugh at yourself, then,
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Well, and I think you picked out the most perfect card for you and our topic about being courageous. And you have done a lot of that, our friend, over the past 5 years. Do you
Thank
feel
you.
like that?
I do. I feel there's been a lot. Well, I would say throughout my life, I've had a lot of courageous moments from growing up, from parents being divorced, my mom remarrying, getting divorced again, being that pillar of the family early on. But then being faced with lots of challenges as you grow. And, prior to moving here, we lived in Cedar Rapids. And so a lot of people don't know we were part of the flood of Cedar Rapids in 2008.
Oh.
So we lost our whole entire house. So if you imagine getting married, having a kid and graduating from college. And then the next year, that whole life that house that you bought, when you're 22 floods and there's nothing you can do about it. You walk into your house about 3 foot up was anything we could save. And the insurance agent hands you the letter and says, you're denied. What do you got to do? You literally lost everything in your house and you find out you have a baby on the way.
Oh, goodness, Melissa.
So going through those things and being courageous and learning a lot about yourself, what you're capable of doing, takes a lot of courage. And over the last 5 years, I moved my family here from Cedar Rapids. We moved into the Des Moines market. I've had some incredible opportunities to work for some great companies. But through those, I didn't feel like there wasn't a fit or there was something that I knew that I'm capable of doing more, and just truly going after what that looks like and how you build your brand. And you come into a new market and you don't know anybody. And then all of a sudden you walk into a room and 500 people. And just being courageous, not only for yourself, but your family. And, I've got 2 daughters at home. So I'm hoping that I'm helping show them what it's like to be courageous and brave and take the steps into creating the best life for myself, for my friends, my family, for all of it.
Oh, goodness, what else is there to talk about?
How long do you got?
My goodness gracious, my dear, you just summed that up. I didn't know that. Did you know that about the flood?
You had told me that, but
Yeah. So it was quite the ordeal. I really, truly learned a lot about giving back and being a really good human. So I worked at that point in time, I worked for Coral Ridge Mall. The entire mall team came into my house and mucked my house out. So, the things that we were able to save, there's a smell. So, for example, my manager, she took this is back when pictures. And so this one was not in the flood, but
that was in the vault.
Yeah. And that was back when we had pictures and you actually didn't just take a selfie and it stayed on your phone. You actually printed them. And so she took every single one of my pictures and she laid them out and dried them out on the sidewalk. And then she took them home and freeze dried them for me. But you open it up and there's this like whiff of just hits you. Yeah. So imagine like leaving your house and being told, just take enough for the weekend. It'll be fine. The basement might flood, but you'll be fine. When we literally left that day, so that morning I had an urge that I shouldn't go to work. And my daughter was at daycare. So I was like, I just need to stay home and get moving things up. We had a knock on the door at 10 o'clock that says it was a voluntary evacuation. By 4 o'clock, it was mandatory. And when we left, the water was literally coming up. We lived on a corner. It was literally coming up and it was like starting to come up our road. And so we literally they said, just take for the weekend. Yeah. And then 2.5 weeks later, we weren't allowed to get in our house. And so just imagining July or June, summer heat, sitting there, and when you walked into your house, it was literally like everything was picked up and just, you could tell where it was floating around the water.
Wow. There
was black mold, just taking all that in and just really processing. I worked my ass off to buy that house. I was 22. And just being told that you lose everything. I mean, you don't come back much from that. But you also learn a lot about yourself. I also learned a lot of ways to navigate red tape, government funding, because we did get some FEMA money.
Okay.
But there was restrictions on that, and there was waiting processes. And in order for us to buy a new house, I had to find something to do with the house that just got flooded.
Yes.
I had a buyer for a short sale. Of course, that was the time, 2008, 2009. We all know what was going on then. And so the bank turned us down because they were like, we don't know what's going on. Why do you want to do a short sale here? And they just shuffled the papers. And so eventually, the nice thing is that I had worked for a credit union and we got some FEMA money that gave us a down payment for the next house. And I just let the house go.
Mm.
So the next house that you moved
Goodness.
into, was that here?
No. So we bought a house in Cedar Rapids right after. So I knew,
Here's a tissue, love.
yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
I knew instantly, like right after like that next morning, it just rained all night long.
Oh, jeez.
Just rain. And I already knew what was going on. So I knew. We even tried. So I had a friend that had his parents lived kind of down the road. So that next day we set out to go walk, to go in to see what we could, if there was anything that we could pull out and save. And we started walking and it was like knee deep and it starts getting up to and I'm like, I can't do this. I don't know how, I don't know
Yeah.
what. Yeah. So you didn't know what was floating around in the water. And I was like, I
No.
can't do that. But in that place, not only did, we have lots of volunteers that came to, but my dad worked in Chicago and his company gathered stuff for us and we went to pick it up. They had gathered so much stuff for us that I couldn't even bring it all back home.
Oh, my goodness.
So I brought what I could and
Yeah.
then we used what we could and we just passed it out to the neighborhood because everybody was dealing with the same thing. It wasn't just me, it wasn't just them.
Yeah.
But so the next house that we bought, fun story about that. We go to close the house. I'm 9 months pregnant. It's winter. And then they say, guess what? We don't have the check for you. And we've already got the apartment that you rented. It's gone because we already got that rented back out. So in those situations, like you really learn patience, gratitude, how to navigate tough conversations with people. So then we lived in that house until we moved here. So when we came to this house, I decided that we were going to move in the middle of summer. So starting a new job, selling a house 100 miles away, getting your kids started in a new school district.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff going on in
Yes.
one little spot. I made the executive decision that we were going to rent because I drove around this amazing market and I couldn't see where I wanted to stay. And at that point in time, we had 2 large dogs. One was a pit bull Dane that stood at her hip. So trying to find a place to rent doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
So from there we rented in Huxley. We ended up in Huxley and that's where we are now today. So at some point there'll
Is that where you guys are now?
Yeah, we're in
Oh,
Huxley.
Great community.
It's a great community. I hate the commute though. Let's talk
Yeah.
about the commute. No, thank you.
Yeah, especially during when the weather's.
Winter,
Yeah.
just people are not nice. People drive fast, crazy.
Yes. Yes.
And
I'm
I'm always out
that
and about.
person.
So at some point, there'll be a residency a little bit closer to
Yes.
all the festivities.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of hard shit to go through.
My goodness.
But obviously, I mean, in retrospect, what do you think your biggest lesson was, or what are you proud of yourself for?
In that space, I learned. So also, in that space, when you start a family, you have kids, and then you kind of lose yourself a little bit in that space. And then you throw all that shit that just happened on top of it. And then at that point in time, my husband was working late nights, a lot of overtime. So I really kind of felt like I was alone.
Yeah.
So it was a long step journey to kind of pivot and go through all those hardships and understand, you know what? I had it. I had it, but I overcame it. And there's always somebody that's got it worse than I do. There was people that didn't know how to navigate the system or have the conversations that they needed. And so I learned that I can do hard shit. And I learned that I can be that person again and I don't let things defeat me or define me.
Yeah. I love that.
Just keep going.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
I love it.
Love that. Define and defeat.
Mhm.
So if we looked you up in the dictionary, that's where you would be.
Actually, look me up under Mel Davania.
Mel Davania.
Mel Davania. You have to say it with the Mel Davania.
So yes, tell us a little bit about
Mel Davania.
Yeah.
Well, I think that has to go back to before the flood and all that, and before marriage and kids. I worked at a bar in Cedar Rapids, and I was the shot girl.
Yeah.
I was the only one that had shots every night. This is how I bought my first house, by the way. I made more money at that job than I did working full time.
Is that where this picture's from?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to show this picture.
Yes.
So
yes.
anyway,
Yeah.
at that point in time, I moved from Cedar Rapids or from Winfield, small town Iowa, Winfield, into Cedar Rapids. And I worked at the largest nightclub in town. So I had the opportunity to be the Coyote Ugly of Iowa. Oh yeah, that's her. She's sassy.
me
This
see
is Sasstastic.
This is very
Like,
sasstastic.
all
Santa's
the
naughty
way.
little helper. That's
Santa's naughty helper.
Shit.
So this was Shot Girl.
that was Shot Girl. Yep.
Okay.
And that nickname stayed still
Oh.
true to this day. There's people that still call me Shot Girl.
Yeah.
So that was my pre-marriage, before I lost myself and my sanity and figured out who the if I was. And then after the flood and we get situated, I ran into there was this dance vitality class that was fitness dance, hip hop and all this
Yeah.
stuff. Well, we also did burlesque. We did vintage burlesque and we
Oh.
performed on the stage for a group, like 125 women. And it was all about loving your body, embracing it, and being who the fuck you really are and
Yeah.
just showing up and doing it. One of the most incredible, another pivotal moment in really truly owning who you were. And at that point in time, I was 300 pounds.
Yeah.
I just, if I can get up there and be confident and show others and love their body and dress sexy, and I didn't go fully naked though,
Yeah.
just for the record. It was all about costume. We might have
Yes.
done the Madonna Vogue
Yes.
custom,
Yes.
and I had more lingerie than I knew what the fuck to do with.
Yes.
It was so much
Oh,
fun though. So
gosh.
just really truly being allowed to, I loved to dance. I loved that sexy self that I got the opportunity to come back.
Mhm.
But she also taught us, how to be like confident and looking you in the eye and just how our body language can tell a story.
Mhm.
And I think during that time frame is when I started I've always been an exercise fanatic for
Yeah.
whatever reason. The weight would never come off.
Yeah.
And I have both my parents have diabetes, so I knew that was coming at me. So it was in those pivotal points, and I also took the leap of faith to go get gastric bypass surgery.
Okay.
So, in raising daughters, I needed to make sure that they knew that I wasn't doing this just for a cosmetic reason. That there were some health reasons that gone to it. Now, I had it, and it's been a great tool for me. But I do say that stress is not my friend, and it comes back quicker. But it has been a really great tool for me to learn to manage and leverage things. But there's a lot of thought process that goes in that it takes a year for you to be approved to go through that surgery.
Wow.
So, and when I went through it, it wasn't just like, yep, you're going to do it. You had to lose weight. There was things that you had to follow. Let's not talk about the liquid diet that you're on for 2 weeks.
Oh, shit.
You could just, and then, so after my surgery, I went to Las Vegas. Like 3 weeks after my surgery, I went to Vegas.
That does not sound like a very good idea.
Was that the liquid diet?
No, because I couldn't even drink. Because you're so that's a thing too. You're not supposed to drink that much.
Yeah.
Because your stomach's only like this big.
Sure.
And finding good food that I could eat was nearly impossible. So I finally ended up I found a buffet that had cottage cheese on there. And I literally said, can I buy like a pint of cottage cheese from you? And they're like, it's this girl. And I was like, you don't understand. Like and going to Vegas when you can't drink and you're like work, play.
Yeah.
And you're out till 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning and your friends are on a whole nother level. And you're like, I can't. I just can't.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
I'm not on your level. I'm sorry. So yeah, I've done some hard shit.
Oh my gosh.
Big shit. Fun shit.
The thing of it is, though, is that people would never know that you're not from here because you come into a room and, like you said, you just know everybody and everybody knows you and you bring such this amazing and welcoming energy and you
thank
really
you.
do. And I know that everybody would say that about you. So, and like I said, I didn't even know that you weren't from here. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad that I belong and I'm a DSM friends.
Yes.
Yes. So I will say coming here is really where I learned my superpower of networking and connecting. And, you really truly know how connected you are until you do move your family somewhere else and your connections run deep. And that's where I started my selfie game and showcasing and highlighting all the great things and
Yes.
people and experiences that I got to experience because I knew I had friends that lived in Cedar Rapids. And if they came to Des Moines, I wanted them to experience all these great things
Yeah.
about this market.
Yeah. And you do. You do it so well. You're like
Oh,
the
yes, thank you.
DSM cheerleader.
I try to be.
Well, you are my friend.
Okay, well, thank you.
So we're going to hop in a little DeLorean and do some time travel.
Okay.
Okay. We only have a few minutes.
Okay.
So we get to go back. What message do you have for her? What would you tell her?
I would say you're still doing it, girl, and you still got a lot more to go. And this is proof that you set your mind to anything and you're gonna achieve anything. And yes, I could look like that again. It's gonna take no more drinks and no more, but I could look like that again. Watch me.
Well, but you don't need to because you love yourself right now.
That's right. I
Exactly.
do. Yes.
Yeah. I think you would tell her, girl, you can do hard shit.
Yeah, I think I would tell her that, girl, you've done hard shit and you can do hard
Yes.
shit. But it's also, I wouldn't be where I'm at if I didn't have really great people support. And I think that is, as we continue to grow and, moving into a new market and making new friends
Yeah.
at 40 is not fun. It's not easy. But I will say, damn, I've got some good friends and great mentors and awesome people that just make living life great.
And what a great role model for your daughters. Literally,
you.
in that aspect of you can do hard shit. You can.
Which I'm so appreciative of the relationships that I have with them and just the openness that we have. I wish I would have had that with my mom and my being able to just communicate and talk and go through the hard shit and know that I have support and that I'm not afraid to talk about sex or whatever it may be. And I think that's a little bit different situation that we live in than what, our kids are growing up than what we experienced.
I love it. Oh my goodness. Well, I know that we could keep talking and talking and talking. I have no doubt we will be having you back on. Maybe we could dress up as burlesque.
Ooh.
We
could do our stage names and we could come up with our costumes and the hair, the makeup, let's do it. That'd
Mr. Producer will tell us that is the After Dark series.
The G spot.
Yes.
Yes. I think we have a whole nother podcast that can come alive at some point.
We even, so in the burlesque part, we also did where we did chair burlesque and we actually you actually did a dance, like a striptease dance. And we had a chair here. I could actually show you a fun trick that I can do on a chair.
Next time.
Mr. Producer
just pointed to his chair.
He's willing to give up his chair.
Oh, I might have to demonstrate.
Well, that's a wrap, everyone. Oh, wait, we got to do real quick.
Oh gosh.
Okay. Short answers.
Oh, I'm excited. The legacy you want to leave.
Oh, that's a good one for you, honey.
Very
good one for you.
Okay, so the legacy that I want to leave is I want to leave that I'm breaking through barriers. I'm going after who it is I'm and what I'm capable of doing. And I'm meeting where my purpose meets my passion and knowing at the end of the day that I'm done it, I've achieved it, and I went after it. Yeah.
That gives me goosebumps.
I love it.
Oh,
that is fantastic.
Thanks, lady. This is awesome.
Mic drop moment.
Yes, mic drop.
Okay.
I need to get a little mini microphone that we can drop it.
Yes. Yeah, not these ones.
Not your big mic. You can't drop the big mic.
No, exactly.
Well, thank you for joining us. It's a wrap.
Oh my God, you guys, that was so much fun. Thank you. That was a blast. I loved it. Okay.
I do have a tiny little microphone I can bring.
That would be so funny.
Thank you, ladies.
Yes.
This has
Oh my
been
gosh.
fantastic.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
heard
Thank you.
this.
Yes. We heard you too.
Your Sasstastic Life is produced by Apex VO. Go to apexvo.com. That's APEXXVO.